Hey everybody, I'm the Bat Otter, and I'm back because you guys seem to like the panel review that I did. Everybody seemed to thoroughly enjoy that. I got some comments on other videos about a separate video. That is the panel review. Never been done before. So, because of that, I'm going to give you guys more. And as you know, haven't been putting out as many videos lately because I haven't been feeling like it. And I've also been getting a minor addiction to David Bowie's music. I've been going down his entire catalog up and down for the last probably 2 weeks. I think I'm going a little bit crazy. But that's not the point. The point is, I thought, well, what better way to indulge my indulgence into David Bowie than to go back and look at some part 4 of Diamond is Unbreakable. And that's exactly what I did. So I was flipping through this book the other day because I'm very confused, conflicted about part 4. Well, not conflicted. It's up and down for me. I like parts of it. I don't like the other parts of it. I think that Araki's art style throughout the course of part 4 is probably his best ever. I'd say second only to maybe Steel Run or Stardust Crusaders. But I think the mix of the kind of big buff style that he had, the Renaissance style that he had for the beginning of his career, that was also influenced a lot by Fist of the North Star, another manga like that, and the more artistic, skinny dude style that has a very big emphasis on strange and unusual gestures in order to convey unique emotions and unique ideas with the characters. I think it's a perfect blend of those two, and so I've always really enjoyed reading the part 4 series because of the art style in it. Whereas with part 5, I'm looking deeper and deeper into part 5, and to be honest, it's harder to interpret. It's harder to look at whenever I look at part 5. Whenever I see Golden Wind and I see some of the scenes, they're good scenes. I know that they are. I've seen them in the anime. But looking at the black and white line art, it's almost indistinguishable, and it's hard for my eye to pick out what exactly is happening in the scene. And I think after reading so much Berserk, it's because of his lack of use of gray tones that help distinguish different things. Because he doesn't use as many gray tones, a lot of things in black and white, and I've run into this issue myself whenever I'm doing my own illustrations, is that a lot of things in black and white tend to mix with each other. You'll notice here, Josuke's jacket is very distinguishable from the background, is very distinguishable from other characters, because in this shot, it's toned with a gray tone to imply some sort of color on the jacket, which separates him from this guy. Now, if his jacket wasn't toned out, this sound effect might help, but it would much easier blend into the background and blend into this other character. But that's not what we're here for. I can talk about that another day. We're here for a panel breakdown. So my favorite part about part 4 is Kira, Yoshikage Kira. He's always been my, not necessarily the favorite villain, but he's always what gets me to come back to part 4. And I wanted to break down this scene here where he blows up this guy because, first of all, I've always loved these 2 pages here. But it was one of those things where looking at this page here, it's hard to distinguish exactly what's going on. But now that I took a closer look at it, I can distinguish it. And it's really cool. It's a really simple page. It's not anything crazy like Berserk, but it is a lot of simple aspects of the page that get done cool little, convey cool little ideas throughout the page. So, of course, I did my little thumbnail as I do. And here it is, here. And it doesn't give you much, but I'm going to fill in the rest here. So when you look at the page, the first thing that you notice is the woman in the top corner, in the top of the page, and she goes down into the man's expression. You see her frightened expression first. You see his saying, hey, get out of the apartment. You go to his hand that's pointing down at Kira's hand that's touching his chest. So everything in the scene is touching each other. The woman's clothes go onto behind the man. The man's hand goes onto Kira's hand, which is touching him, and that all goes down to the Kira's backside here with the black hair, the sound effects that he starts to put in here, and wraps around the explosion as you get to Kira and Killer Queen here, all to culminate in the woman's expression here. Now you're wondering, okay, that's pretty simple, right? But look at the way that it's done. Because everything in this shot is touching the other, is overlapping. That's a better word for it, touching. Her dress is overlapping with him. his hand is overlapping with him, which makes your eye immediately connect everything and move in one coherent rhythm, right? All that broken up by the black spaces and the splotches. It's good to use splotches of black to break up the panel, to add to the composition and add to the rhythm and the movement. As you can see, even the sound effects start at the top. They are in black, and then they go into a white color where it's just the outline of the sound effects. All with the very vertical, but also very intentionally placed positions of the characters themselves. It's a lot of forced perspective, all in order to get your eye to come down here, where you see the very beginning of the explosion. Let me get this page straight. As the sound effects wind up. Now, I'm assuming these are like kaboom kind of sound effects. I can only imagine, I can't read them, right? But the rhythm gets broken in this panel here, in my opinion, because of this simple aspect here. So as you're going up, the explosion is a very fluid motion as his hand is touching and the guy's exploding. You see his face here, his hand is there. And as you're coming back up, you see Kira's face, and you'll notice it's almost cocked back. And while Araki is known for these very zigzag poses that he has, where you see the head is cocked back, so it goes down there, it zigzags to the arch in his back, and you see the leg coming down because you don't really see the rest of the leg. It's almost in one motion with the rest of this page. But it gives you this kind of double feeling, this extra feeling of motion, because his head is cocked back and Killer Queen's head is motion forward, not just in the side profile, but at a slight angle. So here would be a normal side profile. This is kind of the way that Killer Queen's face is motioned. And so while his arm is moving in the walking gesture and his leg is moving forward, you also get that double time, I'm speaking in music terms, of the leg coming out, the other arm coming out. So you get the extra motion, as well as the idea that Killer Queen is the one who's blowing him up, his utilization of the stands, all that to get to the bottom of the page with a lot of fluid motion and a little bit of a broken rhythm once you get here, all to culminate in a completely grayed out page with the woman's expression of shock. That's the page. That's the entire page. And once again, it's hard for me to do these because I just imagine everybody knows it already. But like I said, after watching that that breakdown of that one TV show, I just figured, okay, well, let me see how far I can take it, right? And another thing that I always like about Araki's artwork is the very fluid motion of his gases, of his clouds, his explosions, the blood spatter, a lot of very unique stuff like that. He's very good at conveying these unorthodox but fluid motions of the explosions, of the flow, whatever it might be. And to see that utilized in this page, to add that constant motion where it's like the entire thing is moving, and these subtle movements that he uses with the stands, that he has a very unique opportunity to do so. You can only really do that with stands. In what other situation would you be able to do double unless you're just drawing the person twice? But the stand adds a narrative purpose to draw the person twice as opposed to just a style choice. So I think that the overlap of the stands and the humans that he uses in his pages adds a very good opportunity to convey extra motion and create unique panel compositions with more broken rhythms than you could do in other works of art. So that was the breakdown. There is another shot, I believe, a couple of pages ahead after he blows up the woman, and I don't remember what it was. I can't find it. Cool shot here. So that's been the video. I hope you guys liked that other panel breakdown. It was a little bit shorter, not as in-depth, but like I said, it's these small choices that these creators make in their work that give it that characteristic feel. You would never see something like that in Berserk. You would never see something like that in My Hero Academia. You'd only ever see that in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and that's what helps these pieces stand out from one another. They're not all cookie cutter stuff. They're very unique, and this is why. So that's been the video. Tell me if you guys want any more. I enjoy doing these. I study this artwork all the time, so I figure I should let you guys in on some of the action. Other than that, follow my Instagram, follow my Twitter. I'm posted on there all the time on my story. Subscribe to the channel, like, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video.